Hello, and thanks for looking back in at the channel. Now you'll see I'm in my small clock mending workshop just at the moment. We will be getting up to the loft fairly shortly, and I'll share with you the progress I've made on the layout since the last video, more specifically the up and over branch line. But before then, I've got a little segment I want to share with you, and this is for one of the channel's subscribers, Bob, so I hope you're looking in, Bob. He's troubled by Super 4 points that are missing the very small spring underneath the lever, and aren't we all? Quite often if you come across a few second-hand sets of points, even really nice ones, you'll find disappointingly that this spring is missing. And it's such a small thing, but it makes a great difference to how the points work. It locks them either curved or straight. It's an over-centre spring, and without them in the point isn't at all as reliable as it is with them. Now they're unobtainable, so we've got to have a go at making our own, and I'm going to share with you how I do that. So before I move the camera and we take a look at the process, there's a few things you need to get your hands on. A paper clip, I'm sure we've all got a few of those knocking around our houses. In your toolbox, side cutters. A couple of pairs of snipe nose or pointed pliers. The modelling type are really good with the long points if you've got some of those. Don't panic if you haven't, but the longer the points the better, you'll see why. And then our prime ingredient. Now, a guitar string. So I'm lucky to have a member of the household, young member of the household, who makes great noises with electric guitars, but he's often breaking the strings. So he's got a 6-string electric guitar, and the one we're after is the thinnest on the guitar. The highest, it's the E string, and I got a few broken ones here because I collect them all up into this Tupperware because they're great for all sorts of repairs on the models. You can make, with some of the thicker ones, you can make brush springs. The coiled ones, they make good vacuum pipes. You can paint them black, curve them. There's tons of stuff you can do with guitar strings, take it from me. But the one we're interested in is the very fine, thin E string. So if you haven't got a broken one, you'll perhaps have to go and buy one. They're not particularly expensive, and a new string is quite long, so you'll make a lot of point springs out of it. So yeah, if you've got all those things to hand, then you'll be able to do what I'm going to show you shortly. So let me get the camera moved, and I'll talk you through how I make one of these Super 4 points over centre springs. So just bear with me while I move the camera. Okay, here we are on the workbench. Now, hopefully you'll have just seen on the video I put a title screen with a time, so if you want to jump straight to the update on the branch line, please do. But for now, I'm going to talk about getting this point fixed. Now, just quickly, there's two types of moulding for Super 4 points. Now, some don't have this little plastic protrusion, this sort of stop. If your points haven't got that stop, don't worry, just don't try and put your spring in with the points totally disassembled, because the lever will swing right round and it'll pop out. But for this demonstration I'm using a set that have got this, which means I can just fit the spring and hopefully we'll see how it works. Now as you can see, that's just flapping around everywhere, so if that was connected up to the movable rails, they'd just be able to open and shut or go curved or straight as they want, so derailments and problems all over the place. So here's how we're going to make the spring. So I decided to do a sort of demonstration using garden wire first. So that's my paper clip. Now I'm sorry if I keep going out of shot, I'll try and do better. So this is the guitar string. I'm going to pop that, grab it, and we're going to wind. So a bit of tension, I'm pulling away just towards my left hand, and I'm going to hold that, I'm going to wind round once and then back towards because you've got to remember the guitar string is really springy, so you can't just go to 80 degrees and release, it'll go back. You have to sort of go over the required angle and then it will come back. So remove that paper clip, and there we go, we've got our first part of our spring. It's like a V, so when you're holding that, got to remember that the downturn on the left hand of the V is going down, that goes into the point space, and the one on that side is going up. So I'm making this quite large scale, so I'm going to, instead of 2mm, I'm going to do 2 centimeters, so that's about there. So I'm going to make my downward turn there. Whoops. And then on this side we need the upward, like that. Get the side cutters out, clip there. It's so soft, this garden wire, I'm having to just keep an eye on it. Clip there. Okay, there you've got the facsimile of the Super 4-point spring. So that's what we're aiming for, but obviously in miniature. Right, I'll put that to the side. Now I'm going to leave the camera rolling because I was hoping to try and do this all in one, so you can see that I can produce a spring, fit it, and it works. So bear with me through fumbles and whatnot. So here's some guitar string. Here's my paper clip. So let's see if we can have a go at winding a coil. So I've got my pliers. I'm going to trap my guitar string between the pliers and the paper clip, which is easier said than done. You want to allow a bit of time and certainly some patience for this sort of work. Okay, well, I've got that, that's good. So I'm gripping that quite tightly. Oops, it's got caught on something. Right, here we go. I'm going to start the wind just like with the garden wire, round once and then pull tight. Now I'm trying to get that coil tight. I'm going over and past, and then, well, look, I've done too well there. You can see I've actually crossed, but never mind, we'll keep going. So I'm going to put that back onto the paper clip and see if I can ease it open to the right angle. It's getting there now. Just ease it open. Too enthusiastic there. I think I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get the coil pulled on the camera. So what I'm going to do now is just have a little grip of that and just sort of tweak it about a bit till I think everything looks about right level wise. That is not the best coil, but I think we'll persevere with it and see where it leads us. Right, so there's our V. So we want the downward, so I'm going to put my pointed pliers, grab that, and I'm going to do this just by eye. So I'm going to bend a downward section there. Now that's quite long, but we're going to keep going because it's not an exact art, and I want to see whether I can produce a spring and get it working without too much fiddling around. Let's have a look. Well, that's more or less 90 degrees. Right, I'm going to cut that off. Now I do not want to lose this, so just being careful. Right, guitar string out the way. And then we want an upward bend on this arm. That's pretty good. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, well, I'm going to cut that. Right, well, these arms are on the long side, But there's our little spring. So, is it going to work? Well, there's only one way of finding out. Let's get the base. Okay. Too much coffee today, I think. Shaking a bit. Right. So, magnetic screwdrivers help me there. So there's the spring, and that's on the base. So next thing, I just need to get this arm on. Now I will point out on this particular one there's a couple of different holes. So it's this bottom hole where the screwdriver is next to the lever. So I'm just going to get... Ooh, that's moving. Right, I haven't lost it though. There's plenty of these things all over the place where they've sprung out. So I've got that now resting on top of the spring, and I'm just going to try and get it in position. Right, so I've got my index finger totally over where the spring is. I'm just going to get the screw in. Now just beware, there is a shoulder on the screw, so you need it to line up exactly with the hole. Right, so spring in, let's give it a test. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 1, 2. I hope you can hear that. Let's bring it up to the camera. Try and get it so you can see. Now I'm just gonna, it should just nice reassuring click. 1. Now when that's in that position, you can see the springs holding it, so the points are set. They're not going to vibrate over. Same in that direction. If I pull them just like that, there, you can hear it clicking back under the power of the spring. Now I will say that spring's a little bit untidy. You can make a nicer job of it when you're not trying to do it on camera. But here we have our points, more or less as good as when they came out of the factory at Margate. So just to go over that, you need your paper clip, a few modelling tools, and most importantly some guitar string. But with those simple items we can get these Super 4 points fully restored if you happen to buy some or get some and the only problem is the spring's missing. Now if there's other problems with the clips, you can refer to some of my other videos to see how I get over those. So I think we've probably gone as far as we can with Super 4 point restoration. But that, let me try and do it with the plastic so you can hear it. That's got a lovely action. So please be patient if you try and do this, because you will be rewarded. Right, I'm glad that's done. I hope that was helpful, Bob, by the way. I think now we're going to get up to the loft and I'm going to show you what's happened since the last video. So I'll see you in a minute. Hello, and here we are up in the loft, and already running around the upward main line we've got the Albert Hall, and that's just on a light duty today, pulling a couple of Great Western Region coaches. It's got a couple more circuits to complete. So while that's going round, let's just take a walk and look at the up and over branch line. So indeed we now have some bridges in place, a couple of excellent girder bridges. We've got the inclines, high level piers and the track in place. So we're going to enjoy a little bit of running on this new section of the layout shortly. Now I'm not plating any of the track on the incline and the high level section because I need as much of the grip as I can get, and the nickel plating does slightly reduce the grip. So I'm using my best pieces of just standard Super 4, cleaning them up. And I have to say that there's no doubt that the steel track requires a little bit more cleaning than the actual nickel plated, but it's still great stuff. So let's get back to the controls and start moving a few of these locos around. So this Albert Hall, I think I'm going to bring this into the double track loop. So I'm opening point C. I'm just going to start slowing down now. Come round this loop. Just nice and slowly. Can't go too fast around these pieces of track. Not maintained quite as well as the main lines. So there we are. We'll come to a halt just there. Now, remembering to shut point C, I think we can bring the little old Tri-ang Class 08 over the new section of track. So let's see if we can move it away quite slowly from this halt and follow its progress up the incline. It's got a heavy load of cars on these transporters, just holding it back slightly, crawling away, but nicely onto the flatter section of track. Just getting around this last curve. Only less than 500 horsepower this loco, perhaps 400 or 350 I've been told, depending on which rating it is. So it's just coming down now. We'll pick up a little bit of speed just coming down that section of track, and then we're going to bring it round slowly, and I think we'll just pause, open points G and take it out onto the main line just for a little while. So we're going to get the Class 08 onto the upward main line. Just move away. There we go. Close the points. Now we don't want it to speed up too much. It's about scale speed, I think. Let's just follow it round a bit. Really like this loco. So I think what we'll do now is we'll get this mixed traffic tank running on the downward line. Now I don't think you've seen this on this channel before. This is R.59S Tri-ang, British Rail Green mixed traffic tank 262. It's got a little freight train behind it today. We're going to do one circuit and then we're going to bring that onto the up and over branch line. So both main lines in use. Anyway, back to the controls. And we'll get ready now, opening our new points E to bring this mixed traffic tank onto the up and over branch. So we're just going to slow down slightly as we come into the branch line. Class 08 suddenly found a turn of speed. And what we're going to do with that, and I'm just going to shut point C, is I think we'll take the little old Class 08, just slow it right down, open points G, and see if we can just crawl it into the double track loop. Now we're bringing out onto the main line at the back our express train. I'm just going to park it at the station to pick up some mail, just nice and slowly. And then hopefully, if I open points C, I can drive the little Class 08 and park it up on the double track loop. I'm just going to bring this up behind the Great Western coaches, there we go, of the Albert Hall. So I'll shut point C, and I think it's time for this express train on the downward line to get up to speed. So let's watch this go round for a minute. Now hopefully there'll be some lights in that coach. Nice quiet runner, this Class 37. Rolling stock sounds great. We've got a sleeping car in there, 2 mail coaches, people busy in there sorting letters. And while that's going round, we've got our mixed traffic tank ready to go over the up and over branch. So I'm just going to wait for the Parcels Express to cross the branch line, and then we're going to set off with the mixed traffic tank. Slowly up that incline. Is it going to make it steaming? I think we'll just increase power fraction. Here it goes. Nicely over the 2 girder bridges. Picking up speed, ready to come down. We need to slow that down and then bring it to a halt, because we're going to bring that onto the upward line. And end today running the Passenger Express on the downward line, the Parcels Express, and this R.59S on the upward line. So I need to open points G, and I need to just start moving out now onto the main upward line. Close the points, then we'll follow this mixed traffic tank round. So it's great now, got quite a bit more scope for moving locos around in and out of the double track loop, over the up and over branch line, recycling locos from the downward line through the up and over branch and on to the upward. So I guess what I need to do now is find somewhere else to park a few of these locos. So I guess a loco yard, some sort of other storage facility would be good. So I've got plenty to be working on with. That's a great looking loco, isn't it? Enjoyed running this one today. Let's see if we can just slow it down a fraction. Nice shiny valve gear on this model. There's a black version, and I do have one of those somewhere, but I like this British Rail green one. Really nice looking Tri-ang loco. So as that goes by, we can see we've got the Albert Hall and its two coaches parked on the loop with double track return, and I've got the Class 08, and I have incorporated some isolating sections now, so I've got those connected, which enables me to use the parking facility of the double track loop. Right, let's follow this Class 37 just for a bit. I think we're coming to the end of our little running session today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the different movements around the layout. Maybe some of you will have a go at making a few Super 4 point springs. Pass away an hour or two. Just don't be disappointed if they flick away and you lose them forever. You will lose one or two, I think. Well, I'm certainly not able to make any without losing one or two. Right, well, as these two continue around the main lines, I'm going to finish today's video, and I hope by next time I'll have some other part of the layout operational or something new to show you. But until then, as this Parcels Express train comes towards us, I'm going to say goodbye.